Hello friends, how are you? I am filming this during the snowstorm slash ice storm that's hitting the country, and we got mainly ice here. Anyways, I never really decorated after Christmas, and I was kind of moving on to spring, but now I'm in the mood for winter. So I'm gonna pull out a few things from my Christmas stuff that's not really actually Christmassy, more like the pine trees. I'm going to attempt to do some decorating. We're just kind of chilling out at home, total casual day. I made soup yesterday in the crock pot and it wasn't done in time for us to eat. And so we're gonna have that today. So I don't have to do any of that. We don't have power. It is I'm sorry, we do have power, obviously. It's very icy outside, but that is it. And so we're just kind of chilling at home and no place to go, nowhere to go. And yeah, but I will share that soup recipe with you. It's delicious. This is the second time I have made it. This one has a few variations, so I will put that in, and then we're gonna go ahead and do some decorating. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but everything's looking so bare. It needs some help, so that's what we're gonna do today. This is a really great potato soup crock pot recipe. I like doing the one I normally do on the stove, but the crock pot is a great option. It's 3 hours on high, I think, and 6 hours on low, plus another half hour. That's for the initial. But anyways, frozen hash browns, diced onion, some shredded carrots. I'm putting in some bacon pieces rather than cooking up some bacon. I use this a lot. I love these bacon pieces from Sam's Club. And some garlic. My ratios are a little bit different. My hash brown bag was a little bit bigger than the recipe called for, so I made a few other adjustments, but I will have the recipe linked down below. But I'm also going to tell you the things that I did change up for this recipe. I added in some salt, and then I'm going to add in some chicken broth. Once again, I'm adding in more than the recipe calls for, just simply because I added more of everything else. And this ended up being a full batch of soup, so I'm going to end up freezing some of it, but that's all right. I'm also adding in some water, and I'm just going to give this a light stir, and we are going to put this on, I think I ended up doing it on low and then switching it to high. I don't know, but I would just say follow the directions. And then when you have about a half hour left of cooking time, you want to mix. Now the recipe calls for flour and heavy cream to be added, mixed together and put in there. Well, I didn't have heavy cream and I didn't feel like getting any just for this recipe. So I'm using almond milk and flour, whisking that up and adding that to the soup. But to add some extra creaminess, this is not required. It's not in the recipe. I'm also going to add in some sour cream and some softened cream cheese. I think I had about a half a container of sour cream. So I think that's what, 4 ounces. And then I did 4 ounces of cream cheese, which I did soften in the microwave and kind of mix it up. You want that pretty soft before adding it in. And then we're going to let this go for about another, 30 to 45 minutes till it's done to your liking. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you are enjoying this video, I don't usually say this in my videos, but if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more lifestyle content, I would love to have you here on my channel. This one's a little bit different than normal. I don't usually do voiceovers, but here we are. I also wanted to add some more veggies, so I took some broccoli from the freezer. I partially cooked it so that I could cut it up a little bit more and added that to the crock pot. And then I'm adding in a bunch of cheese. I use a combination of Monterey and cheddar. And then I also decided to add in a can of corn. We like corn added to our soups and just that different texture. And this came out delicious. I highly recommend it. All right, so now back to today. Here is the grass that is covered in ice, and our back patio screen was, well, you couldn't see through it. It was a sheet of ice. We're going to continue on with the voiceover for this video. It was, like I said, the day of the ice storm, and we were just home, and I didn't want to dominate the space by having to have the TV muted so that I could record. and my husband was giving his input, which was helpful because sometimes I have a hard time making decisions. But I went into my Christmas decor. A lot of this I never even used for Christmas, and just pulled out any of my like plain pine tree type things and a couple of neutral Valentine's items. These are ones that I have made. I do crafting, and just wanted to mix those in. And I also knew we have this light behind the TV, but I wanted to put candles. So my husband was like, let's just not use that light for a season. So you'll see in a bit, we will make that change. And I just have fun decorating, making my home a cozy, warm place to be. And when it comes to decorating, it's usually a lot of trial and error, putting things, taking a step back, changing it until I have something that I really like. So I didn't do a ton. I just did this little space in our living room. So my fireplace mantle, my coffee table, one little side table I put a couple things on. I have a large lantern next to my fireplace. And then I do have another lantern like on the landing leading upstairs. And I just put another one of the trees and a candle in there. So I have built up a collection of these battery operated flameless candles, and they have a remote, which is awesome. I can put them on a timer. And also we bought some rechargeable batteries a few years ago. So I don't hesitate to really use my candles worried that I'm wasting batteries because I can just recharge them. And that made it kind of worth it to me to have the candles. Otherwise I was like, I'm not going to want to use them because I don't want to, be wasteful. So anyways, I love the glow of the candles. It's just so warm and cozy. And this wintry, icy day certainly was making me feel that way. So I kind of wasn't quite done here. I'm going to show you the final look, how I put it all together. This is another shot outside. It started getting super foggy. The weather was picking back up again. Anyway, I'm moving on to my lantern. Sorry, the lighting got really weird for this spot. I don't know why, but it did. But it's short. I also added in some pine cones into the lantern. I also ended up adding some onto the fireplace mantle. I just think that pine cones work really well for that winter decor look, kind of fall and winter. So I have a bunch of pine cones. They were actually, I think after a friend got married, her mom was giving like them away on Facebook, and I was like, I'll take them. And so I got a ton of plain pine cones and a ton of gold painted pine cones. They were used in her decor. So for my coffee table, I like to use my little metal tray. This coffee table has storage in it. So I need whatever's on the coffee table to be easily moved out of the way so that I can get in there. We keep like extra blankets and things like that in there. So anyways, and then another little snowy tree. And I did add a real candle, and the match broke when I struck it and it landed on my table. But thankfully it's a rustic looking coffee table. And then just a little throw blanket. The other couch my husband was sitting on, and we just have blankets out all the time, so I didn't show you that. But for this one, I just layered a cream blanket with this fur blanket. I've had this fur one for a long time. The cream one is from Marshall's, I believe. Yeah, no, TJ Maxx. And that was kind of it. I didn't go crazy with anything, but just enough touches to make it warm and cozy. Oh yes, I did add that little decor on our stand for our water filter. And I love how it came out. It's very cozy. We did end up lighting the fireplace, and it was really nice. So the power has flickered a couple times, but it only went off. It flickered a couple times and then it went off for like a minute, but all seems to be good. I'm going to wrap up this video, but let me know down in the comments how you fared through the storm, where you are, and what kind of weather you ended up getting. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed hanging with me. Delicious dinner and some decorating for winter. Do you decorate for winter? I kind of went back and forth, but I'm glad I did. Next year, I'll definitely do it just immediately after Christmas. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do this year. But anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.